So, welcome back to Involvo'd, where we're going to be working on a rusty old Mercedes Benz. Today we're actually going to have a look at the rust on this car because it is the most important thing. There's a couple of mechanical bits that we need to sort out, as I showed you guys in a recent video. But yeah, the rust is really a big deal, and especially so here in Germany with the inspections the way they are. So yeah, we're gonna have to jump straight on it. Each time it rains, it's getting worse on the body. We need to get on it before it just disappears. So that's what I'm gonna do today. It's even a leaf collector. So that's why you want to get inside behind your wheel arch liners and have a good clean for this reason. Yeah. So as you can see, some pretty gut-wrenching moments where I fully expected to see some holes, some big ones. So it's not the bells of doom, it's the bloody sirens of doom. That's how I feel when I'm looking under this Mercedes. So then it was on to the Owatrol for the rust treatment, and to be honest with you, I think I would drink this stuff if it was allowed. Does an absolutely fantastic job against rust. So we've got another thing to try. This comes highly recommended from a mate of mine. He's used it on his cars, he's had great success with it. It talks a big game as well, it seems to really do a good job. So do a quick test patch first here. Oh, a bit messy. Obviously this is going to get treated with fluid film, so I'm going to paint around that. Any rust, I'm not going to go over directly with this stuff, even though it says you can, but I won't. I'll treat the rust first with something, either Owatrol and then this stuff, or just fluid film it and then maybe some permafilm over the top of the fluid film. But yeah, no, it looks nice, doesn't it? It's going to freshen up the underneath and give it an extra layer of protection. It's time to give this thing a clean. Not on the outside yet, that's a long way off. We've got a lot of work to do, but on the inside, it's absolutely gopping. You guys think you hear a lot of bells on the channel in my videos. You don't. I hear a lot of bells. This is what it's really like. Non-stop. So, because I was banging the door a little bit whilst I was cleaning it, I was like beating the wall up a little bit, and yeah, just noticing as I was cleaning it, there's a lot of damage. And then I thought about the outside, because I did it earlier as well. I did something, I think I was bringing the tripod over, and I like scratched, like kind of bumped into that and ran across it. Didn't really leave any marks. So at this point I'd forgotten what I wanted to say and it was too loud to say it anyway, so I decided to fire up the Hoover and crack on. It's amazing what you can find in a second-hand car. We got the gun. I've been waiting a long time for this. Now with this big thing, I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I cannot wait. So we've got the lance there as well for the cavity. Finally, I've got a compressor. It's only a little dinky thing, but it'll do the job, won't it? So there we go. It's absolutely dripping. Really thin. It's dripping a lot. So for certain areas, especially that get beaten a lot more by rain, spray, water spray on the road, salt and all that stuff from driving, like all this, for example, this subframe, we need to put something thicker on there because it won't last that long. I'll just get something on a brush and just lay it on thick, and yeah, that will last much longer. So I professionally masked off, as you can see, fired some paint on it, and here we go. I was going to say the finished result. It's not finished, but the bulk of it's done. It's a bit of an improvement, isn't it, compared to how it looked before. A little bit nicer. I've left this intentionally. What else have we left? The fuel door. A little blemish here. This part here, that would have been quite tricky to do anyway, because the rust is quite deep in there, so would have been very tricky to paint. So I've just, these areas you can hopefully see in there, you can see it's a bit looks wet kind of, but it's basically the Owatrol that I used on all these spots on the outside to preserve it, to seal off the rust and just preserve that patina. So I've sprayed inside the star there because that looked quite bad. This is all quite rough up in here, so I've left that because it just goes, you know, everywhere. But this green browny rust wash, whatever, I don't even know how you describe it, got rid of that. Really, I could wet sand this, wet flat it a little bit more and polish it a bit more to get it a bit nicer, but I'm not too fussed because we can see where it's been resprayed before here in that section. But yeah, of course the whole car is a bit tired, but so I wasn't going for perfection. This has been done before. You can see I've sprayed the bottom of the arch, but this has been done at some other point. But as we know, as we could see, the whole car is, you know, it's had a lot of work done. It's had a lot of issues. It's still got a lot of issues, but I need to polish like this out a little bit more and make it a bit nicer. But a couple of little scabs I've just left, but the bulk of it I've done. I would have left it all and just preserved it all, to be honest, considering that the wheel arches, it was all just surface, there was nothing sharp, there was no holes at all. But you know, for the inspection, how it can be, so I didn't want to take any chances, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just tidy it up mostly, and then I'll just leave 1 or 2 scabs just for the patina. So obviously all this I've painted as well. I just thought I would do it all. Yeah, as we can see, it needs a lot, but I just wanted to get it most of the way there. And yeah, I've intentionally left this Owatrol over the top to seal it off, lacquer even over that just to make it last even longer, and then I'm just going to leave it. Battle scars, as Ched UK commented. Yeah, tidied it up inside, you saw that already. Freshened it up. Got rid of those sheep wool car seat covers. These are still covers as well, of course. Left them on there. And yeah, it's alright, isn't it? It's not going to worry too much about too much. Took a bit of Autosol to the grill and just freshened it up as well. It's a bit more respectable, so yeah. So there we go. What do you think? Should I have saved all that time and effort and put it into a Volvo? Possibly, but well, at least the Volvos can stay nice and safe and tucked up in the garage over winter, and then this can see the salt instead. So it might, because it's a S210, it might only last about 3.5 seconds on salted roads, but we'll see. We've really gone crazy underneath with all the greases and all the products, so hopefully she should be okay. So we've also gone for a new number plate. So we had to re-register it into our name from the previous owner, and they lived in a different town, not too far away actually, which is also part of the reason why we bought it, because Germany's a big country and to find cars close to you is not always the easiest, especially, you know, when your partner's heavily pregnant. You don't want to sit on the train for several hours. So yeah, anyway, so it's a nearby town but still not exactly the same region. So in our region, Don is the like the prefix, so every car in this region will have Don. So when we re-register it, it was going to change to Don, and then we could have had a randomly generated license plate, or we can actually pick what comes afterwards. I think it's like €8 or €16, or it's not much anyway. It's definitely worth doing. I'm not a big fan of private plates, but personal plates, but you know, for a few extra bucks you can just choose at least what comes afterwards, as this is standardized anyway. So yeah, we went for this. I think it suits. It's got nothing to do with donut media. It was just, yeah, what can we make out of Don? Yeah, it looks like a donut. We can do donuts because it's rear wheel drive, so yeah, I think it's quite fitting. So there we go. So of course we've still got a few mechanical jobs that we need to do on it, quite a few actually, and yeah, they'll be coming up in future videos. We've got the springs, we've got accumulators that we're going to do on the rear to fix the rear suspension that's really bouncy, and yeah, the exhaust needs doing, and there's a few jobs, and then it will be off to the inspection, and we'll see if it goes through, so I'm sure that'll be interesting. So yeah, see you next time.